Hello, everybody, and welcome to this module of the B3 Beginners Business Bootcamp. Today, we wanted to talk about websites and blogging. What do you think about websites, Sarah?
Website, even though they are sometimes going out of favor and you will see some businesses without them, I always think that they're a great way to, again, your people are going to look if it's a real business or not, and they want to see a landing page. So it's not something where you're going to be interacting very much, but you do want the links to everything that is the most powerful parts of your business.
Agreed. I think of them too uh, as content repos, right? In our world of short 30-second, 10 to 30-second, 7 to 10 to 30-second attention spans, the quick headline grabbing content. But what if someone wants to dive deeper?
Yep.
Your website is a holding container for deeper level content that people can go and explore. And it's also a holding place for content that you can share rather than have them shared on your local desktop, share them on the world. Seth Godin actually talks about your website being a history of you, right? I've had some sales in the past. Most recently, closed a house this year where someone you saw a comment I made on Facebook, linked to my website, went back to my website, read 6 months worth of content, messaged me back, not even back, messaged me and said, "Hey, I just read your blog. You're our guy. We're pre-approved. We want to buy a house." And I said, "Okay, let's go shopping." Right. So that's the power, the long tail, the long horizon power of these websites as well.
Yep.
Uh, I particularly like the statement there about it, you mentioned earlier billboard too. It's who you are. And one other thought, it could be a book. If you are systematic about updating your website and systematic about the content on your website, and you do it for a long enough time, you can go back. You have a ready-made book.
Yeah.
That's another
And
thing
on
that
it,
you
you
can
can
think
put
about.
a lot of useful, like free things that are attention getters, that might put you ahead of your competition, right? So maybe you're a car company and or you're doing some maintenance things, and it's like how to change your own tire, right? They're giving you some free
Yep.
content that is helpful to you and it builds trust. So we do that by making blogs on mine. So obviously, this is my website, and we create blogs that help people learn nutritional habits.
As a mental model, we talked about this in the last module too, but a mental model is a framework. It's just a thought process, right? So I suggest that folks step into the mental model of this kind of process. If you're out running and here's a great example. This blog was born of being out running and wondering what things do I need to do to ensure that I am staying safe, and how do I keep my feet warm, right? And so as I was thinking about that, I was thinking like other people would have that question. So now we have a blog that we can share that addresses that topic, and it's content generates a mental model that says, if I'm thinking this, other people are probably thinking that. If that's the case and it's in my lane, I could make a blog post about it, and then I can share that blog post to the world. And if I write it in a what's called evergreen manner, that's not necessarily dated, right? So we look at the blog post. There's nothing in here that says on the 9th of December at 10:33 a.m. and this is only applicable to that day, right? It's evergreen content that can be shared again and again.
Yes. Yeah, and it's more long form content, things that are going to be more like for the person that wants to know specific things. So a lot of our blog posts that me and Rob make for my business is from things people asked from us. So we had them ask every week, could you post a nutrition like a recipe that gives the macro breakdowns? And so we said, yeah, absolutely. So
Yep.
we started doing these ones that you see at the top right here that are
Yep.
giving actual meals that they can make for their families or in the firehouse, and it gives a nutrition breakdown for those guys. So it also helps, and this is a great thing to know when you're trying to promote your business to the top of search engines, is the way to do that. And Rob taught me this. This is not something known by me, is that blog posts, the more that people interact with them. So you want to put them on your Facebook group to make it full circle with what we just talked
Yep.
about so that people click on them and it moves you up in search engine optimization, which makes you at the top.
Yep. So if you're out there and companies are pitching to you, hey, for $10,000, we'll optimize your website and you'll appear number one on Google. That is not the case. Optimization is a few things. It's making sure the meta tags on a website. We're not going down the rabbit hole here, but on a website when it loads. There's something called meta tags. It's the back end information that it's making sure the meta tags are reflective of what you do. In the beginning of the internet, people would game the system by including a bunch of meta tags that had nothing to do with their business, but they wanted to appear first on the search engines. Then the search engines got smarter, and so now Google and Yahoo and the search engines will penalize you if your meta tags aren't correct. Like my website is for business networking and strategy development, right? So if I started putting meta tags about fitness on my blog, Google would actually penalize me, right? But that is the core of optimization. Make sure the meta tags, making sure the images on your website have the right tags, making sure the images on your website are relevant to your topic. All of these things are SEO optimization, right? But to Sarah's point, SEO optimization doesn't do anything except so you have a Model 3 Tesla that I wish I had. But a Model 3 Tesla sports package, right? It's brand new, just out of the car wash, but it's sitting there. You don't have the key. It's okay, great. People might drive by it once in a while and say, wow, that's a really nice car, but it's not going anywhere. And it won't go anywhere without the strategy Sarah just elucidated, which is you have to work it. So any company that's telling you all you have to do is optimize the website, you'll be good to go, is only telling you a third of the story. The other part of the action that has to happen for you to rise is exactly this. So what does that mean? Well, here, so we've got this winter day treat blog post. We wrote the post, we posted it on the blog. Now we're going to go to Sarah's website or group. We could do this in her group, her page, or both. Let's do both. Let's see. So we're going to switch over to Sarah's page. And so now we are going to the page and we're going to say, check out this awesome recipe. Okay. Slightly chilly today. This would make a good lunch. Boom. Okay, I've got a headline. I've got a blog post. I'm gonna copy it. Or actually, we come with different strategies here, but let's post it. Okay, we're gonna post. Now we've posted the content to the page. We've to use one of Sarah's analogies too. We've put up the billboard. Okay, but even now, so the billboard is on the page. But pages, while important, are not necessarily the engine of growth for your business on Facebook. What we're going to do now, we can either go click the share button, or I can grab the URL and I'm going to go into Phoenix's page, a group rather. So let's see. My Facebook is acting kind of weird, but let's see here. Phoenix Fitness. In theory, I'm going to go see if I can find. This is going to route me back to the page. Okay. I think what's happening here is
I think it's because
it's not. It's in the page mode, so it doesn't like to search. Okay, so here's the group, and welcome to the world of social media too. So we're going to come in here. I've got the URL saved, but I'm in here as myself. Instead, I'm going to post as Phoenix Fitness's page. Let's see if this works. That did not work. Oh, here we go. Okay, now we're back in the page in the group. But you see, I'm the page. I'm acting as the page right now, and I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to say yum, and I'm going to drop that URL to that post that's on the page. And so with this action, I'm hitting multiple points. We've created a blog post. We have posted it on the page. We've shared that in the group. So we've done a triple attack here, content wise. And when people click on this link, it's going to go back to the website, which does what Sarah was mentioning. It is going to register as a activity and a backlink, and it's going to bump up the algorithm that much more.
So I'd also like to say I use a lot of these on when we talk about sharing to other groups to get people to come to your group. So today, because this is our post, I'll probably also go to another group that's like firefighter fitness and nutrition, right? Which is just people across the nation sharing workouts and nutrition that isn't my group. I'll drop this same thing and be like, here's a good recipe for the firehouse. And people will click it, but I'll also attach my Phoenix Fitness group. So if people are interested, they can come back here. So you're doing a hit across the board.
And
Bringing group,
let's
your
play that out here.
optimization.
Yep, you are. Let's see here. Let me see if I can go. Let's do that real time too. So we're going to go here. Phoenix Fitness is part of the 411 for the 719 group as well. So here's a real application of this here. So this group has 75,000 people in it. We're going to go in here and what should we say to the general public, Sarah?
We'll just say like nutritious recipes for a cold day, and then say at Phoenix Fitness.
Here's a nutritious recipe for a cold day. Join us at Phoenix Fitness for more. So we're going to hit that. And then we're also going to, let's go straight here. Let's go to the group. So I can get back to the group. I'm going to grab the group's URL specific to Sarah's strategy here. And so we've got the link to the page. We've got the link to the group. We've got the link to the content. That's like a quadruple God level action here.
Yep. And so it brings everyone full circle. You're growing your group, you're growing your search engine optimization. And you'll do this a couple times a day because, like we said, you want to constantly be seen.
Agreed. And you cannot add enough value. You can't, with your blog posts, literally, and step into the idea of anything, any lesson learned throughout the day. If you have an epiphany, if you're running or you're walking or you're having a conversation, here as a strategy, here's what I do. I have a little red book, and it is full. This is my first principles book. If I hear something that just really stops me in my tracks, I'll write it down so I don't forget it, right? But then that's blog content. So then I'll go, and when I have a chance, I'll make a blog post about that. And then I share that blog post in exactly the strategy that we just demonstrated here. So I'm going to flip around and then go back into, if my computer can handle it today, the group. And now we'll see Sarah's post in there. Boom. And now I'm gonna take one more step. I'm gonna like that comment. And so I'm helping boost that in that group too. And this is the core of a social media engagement strategy.
Yeah.
Content, blogging it, sharing it, posting it, inviting people back into the group, going back in and liking it as yourself. This is SEO action. If optimization is the act of optimizing the Ferrari or the Porsche, getting it a good car wash, make sure it's all good to go. But what you just saw was the other half that doesn't get mentioned a lot, and that is driving the ship, or driving the car rather. Yep.
So to summarize in full circle, you need a website so that people have a landing page for you to go to. The best way to bump yourself up in that website is to make blog posts and use that as good content that is beneficial for others, and post that to all your platforms, including platforms that you are a part of, right? Like the 411 for the 719, because we both live in Colorado Springs here, and it's giving some good content for our people here in the Springs. And that brings everything back to you growing your business. Now, if you see already, we've had multiple people either like that post. You can see them coming up at the bottom that are saying that people are liking posts. 2 people have already said that they liked the post on my group. So wow. There you go.
So yeah, that's it. That's the system in action. And then you need to do this 3 to 5 times a day. Never one other thought here. 3 to 5 times a day. Don't post the same message multiple times either. Yum in one group, right? Awesome in another group. This sounds delicious in a third group, right? Facebook will penalize you for repeatedly posting the same content. It'll look like spam to Facebook.
Yeah, so go in Facebook jail again. The Facebook timeout And I learned that the hard way as well by posting to people something beneficial, right? I made body weight workouts for everyone and I posted it to several places and went into Facebook jail for a week. So we're literally teaching you guys the things that we wish that we would have known earlier, but we learned it through running our own businesses. And now we're trying to have you guys avoid that by doing the things that we've learned. So always make it original content, truly organic for every single platform, but you can use the same blogs.
Yep, evergreen content.
Evergreen
And just
content.
I can't stress the mental model shift of considering Facebook and social media is they're not just there's a definition of a group of people. A group of people with no mission is called a conglomerate. It's just a conglomerate of people, right? Instead, consider that these are systems. These are engagement systems, content distribution platforms, right? It might sound kind of cold to refer to a group of people in that way, but it's not. It's a Facebook group that has 2,000 people in it is not 2,000 people. It's 12,000 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? It's a node of network relationships that you can build and inform and educate. I've heard a lot of people say, well, I don't even know what that means. Well, it means you get in there and you make it happen through the system we just showed you. You get in there, you generate the conversation, you start the conversation. And sometimes it's going to feel like, hey, no one is listening, right? They are. And if you're adding value, they will follow that value. The example I gave a little bit ago of the gentleman who saw one nugget of value, followed that nugget back to my blog, and then read that blog, which let's see if I can show real quick here. Is so here is that blog that was where did that specifically. This is a blog about real estate analytics. So this guy read this 6 months worth of posts on this blog and decided I was his guy, right? So that's the system in action and what it can do for your business. You have to work it though, and you have to keep at it. This is not something that you can do one day and be like, okay, I made my 3 to 5 posts for today. I'm done. And I'm going to stop and I'm going to wait for business to come to me. This is not how it works. This is an active engagement system. And it's going to take a while before you start appearing in the search of people. But the more value you add, the more engagement you get, then people will, the algorithm itself that is Facebook will start to bubble your content to the surface. And so when you make a post, it'll have bigger reach.
And a lot of those content ideas can come from your actual people. And that's what I do. So I'll ask a lot to people like, hey, what would you like to see this week? And then I give them options like 1, 2, and 3. And this will bump you up anyway in your group, right? That people are interacting in your group. And I'll be like, workouts. Would you like to see some rehab? Would you like to see recipes? And they'll choose between 1, 2, and 3 for that week. And then gives me some ideas. Here's what I'm going to post for this week.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Ask your people. Ask what they're interested in. That's great content generation too. If ever you're like, I don't know what to post, ask. And Sarah, in another module coming up, we're going to talk about how to generate content too using ChatGPT, which is exciting.
A whole year's worth of content.
That's you got to drive the ship on that one. Your strategy and your system is pretty awesome.
All right. Cool. We'll see you in the next module.
Okay. See you in the next one.